Is on the air. Talking Golf is brought to you by American Family Insurance, Oak Park Place, Wild Rock Golf Club, Zimbrick European. Also, University Ridge Golf Course, Ridge Top Exteriors, Wisconsin.golf, Cleary Building Corp., and Nevada Bobs. Now from the new home of TPC Wisconsin in Madison, here are the hosts of Talking Golf. Member of the Wisconsin Golf Hall of Fame, the legendary Dennis Tiziani, longtime Madison sportscaster Paul Braun, and Wisconsin sports veteran and statewide radio host Mike Heller.
Welcome to TPC Wisconsin in Madison, along with Dave McCann, our engineer, Mike Heller. I'm Paul Brown, and the legend, Dennis Tiziani, is with us. Mike, it's such a privilege to sit between a legend, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, look at this man and what he's done and the status he carries with him. The room is different when he walks in, no doubt about that.
It's attention, you know.
Yeah, let me get my boots on.
Right, exactly right. Exactly right.
Hey, Dennis, TPC is open now. A lot of people are playing golf. In fact, somebody that came out and played it for the first time over the weekend was Jerry Kelly.
Yeah,
What kind of reaction did you get from
Jerry?
He
really liked it. He came with his son.
Did he?
His son used to work here. Yeah, he's a family guy. That's the big attraction for me that he has. That he's a great player and stuff, but he's he's got both feet on the ground, and he really liked it here. He's not privy to some of the additions we're going to do yet, but
what do you think of the golf course?
He did. He liked the greens. He liked the way the natural undulations are, they're not stupid stuff. And the green speed here now is around 10.5, could be 11. If it gets any more than that, though, I think it's going to be a problem for our members.
I don't know about you, Mike. I think it's fast enough right now, don't you?
I love the greens, and I love the green complexes. I love the concept that when you miss a green by a little bit, you can still have a putter in your hand. Yeah. I love the runoffs there and those collection areas are fantastic. Let me shift gears on you, Dennis, quickly and talk about Nikki is qualified for the U.S. Women's Senior Amateur along with Sarah DeCray, another member at TPC, 2 of the 4 from Wisconsin who are going to go out to Troon Country Club in Scottsdale the end of September. What a great accomplishment for Nikki, who takes a back seat in golf to Steve and sometimes to the girls. For her to be in this position to play in the U.S. Women's Senior Amateur.
Good support. That's what she does. She's a support person. But, these kids, I told you where the athletic chromosome is, right? It's an X.
From mom.
From mom. So that's where it comes from the beginning. Steve goes nuts when I tell him that. But anyway, she's happy. And I'll tell you what was really impressive to her was when her daughters told her that they were proud of her.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. But she's a competitor, and she's been playing, practicing on a regular basis. She plays. I know she goes out. I see her go out on the cart in the evening. So, and I'm sure playing on this kind of course was good for her too. You go to some other place now, and it is a little easier.
Well, you play out in those desert courses in Troon. You have to hit fairways because off the fairways is desert. So let me ask you this also about U.S. Senior Amateur. They're going to play a couple rounds of stroke play, and then they transfer into match play. Top 64 players get into match play. Why are the games different? How are the games different from a psychological approach of stroke play to match?
Your match is still the course. That's where you got to keep your focus on the course. You don't be so stupid to know that if your person is making a 10 on a hole that maybe you should use a putter going up the hole. But you just have to be aware, but you still have to play against the course, and you still have to keep that that kind of disposition. That metabolism rate changes when you play in a tournament.
Yeah.
And part of my instruction when I was coaching and the like with these players is you got to get that metabolism rate down in your normal life. So when the tournament comes, it gets to normal.
Yeah,
it doesn't go from normal to something different. She's really good at that. She understands perfectly what's going on in that aspect of the game. So it's kind of cool. But Sarah DeCray made it too.
Yes, she did. And she was an outstanding college player.
Well, she played at Indiana when I coached. She's a good player.
How'd you let her get away?
I was there before I was here. But you see at the end where she is?
Oh, yeah, right back here.
She's right back here at the end, No, but she's really good. I don't know if she won the NCAA, but I know she was a Big Ten champion.
Yeah.
And she can play like hell here. She's got the stuff, and 2 out of 4 players who made it are from this club.
Yeah, in the state. 2
In
out
the
of
state,
4.
yeah.
That's kind of cool.
No. In this club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not I don't
4
know.
in the state.
4 in
though.
the state, 2 of them from here at TPC.
Yeah,
That's
right.
only 50%, but that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was-
Strive for better.
I was being facetious.
We're going to have Steve on here in a couple of minutes, hopefully. Also on the program, Gary D'Amato. And Bobbi Stricker is going to stop by, and we're going to chat with her. She missed the qualifying stage 1 by 1 shot. Huh?
Yeah, she shot 4 over, That first thing she shot 4 over, and then she shot 1 over, and she made a couple of miscues. So when I talked to her texting, I said, what do you think you have to shoot for the 3rd round? And she said -1. And that's what she shot, -1, and she misses by 1. I know that's really bothering her a little bit, missing. But the other side of the coin is, you'll never, ever win at anything if you expect defeat. So you gotta get rid of that part there that I may not make it and stuff like that.
You're a little upset that you didn't make it. Huh?
Well, she was upset. I mean, there was no doubt about it. I talked to her at great length there, but she's recovering and it'll make her stronger.
And joining us now is Steve Stricker. And Steve, before we talk about, say for an example, the Ryder Cup or wherever this conversation goes, you got to be proud of Nikki. That's a pretty cool accomplishment that she's now qualified for the women's senior amateur tournament.
Yeah, it's very cool. We were all super pumped for her and excited. She hasn't competed in so long, and so no one really knew what to expect, nor did she. So it was pretty cool that she made it through and now moves on out to Phoenix area and will play out there. And, we're excited for it for sure.
Steve, that's I was just asking Dennis about the difference of stroke play to match play. Obviously, you've been involved deeply in both. Nick, you'll have that at the U.S. Women's Senior Amateur. They play a couple of rounds of stroke play, and then it qualifies into the top 64 into match play. In your mindset, what was different between those 2 games?
One, you're playing the course, and the other one, you're playing your opponent, and so when you're playing, like in Nikki's case coming up, when you're playing an opponent, I mean, you can do some different things if you have to, if they hit it in a penalty area or, whatever, you can always, play a little bit smarter if you need to. But, yeah, so it really doesn't matter what kind of score you shoot in the match play part. And you just got to kind of pay attention and play your own game still. But if an opportunity arises where they screw up, you can kind of play a little bit smarter.
Let's transition now to the Ryder Cup. Steve, I understand later this week you're headed over to the tournament site and taking a practice round and that kind of thing. From your perspective as one of the tri-captains, so to speak, and you go over there and watch the practice round, what are you guys looking at or trying to take away from that experience of watching that practice round when it comes up?
Yeah, there's multiple reasons why we're going over there. One, a big one is obviously to see the golf course. These guys can develop a game plan. When they play it for 2 or 3 times we're over there, they'll come home, they'll have it in their mind on what they need to do, the type of shots they need to hit, what they need to work on to get prepared for the Ryder Cup. And the next one, which I think is almost just as important, is just the team bonding and everybody being there, kind of get that newness of being together out of the way. So when you come back for the actual Ryder Cup, you've already done it. You've gotten through all that kind of uneasiness or awkwardness of being with all these other guys. And because we don't do that on a regular basis, right? I mean, you're traveling by yourself, you're staying usually, with your family or by yourself. So you kind of just get all that out of the way and you prepare. And I'm glad. I think there's 9 out of the 12 guys are able to make it. So it's going to be well worth it, and it should be a fun trip.
Steve, let me ask you about that. When you were the captain at Whistling Straits, that's a home game. This is a road game. The U.S. hadn't won on European soil since 1993. The home team tries to set up the course to their advantage. What's the anticipation of what that might be at Marco Simone Golf Club in Rome?
Yeah, that's what we're going to be able to see. Typically, they like to narrow the fairways and bring the rough up, slow the greens down. So we'll see. The one thing that I've heard about Marco Simone is that there's two different types of grasses, and there are usually here in the States too, but the two different types of grasses over there are pretty extreme. So they're not sure, the guys that have been over there aren't sure that they can actually grow up the fairway to a rough height. So the width of the fairways may not change, but I imagine they'll grow the rough up pretty thick. They like to do that, and again, they like to slow the greens down. They feel like we don't putt slow greens very well, and they typically putt on slower greens throughout the year. So those two things probably are going to be a given.
Steve, you look at the other side of the roster, so to speak, not the American team, but the European team. Boy, there's a lot of talent over there. You got 4 of the top 5 players in the world, and McIlroy, Rahm, Victor Hovland, and Hatton, and Tommy Fleetwood is also part of it. How do you look at their team overall? What do you see?
Yeah, I think they're very strong. Their top players are just as good or better than our top players. So I think, it's always a challenge going over there. We've been favorites before going over there, and it hasn't turned out well. So it's going to be a big challenge again for us to go over there and win. And but our guys are up for it. They're cohesive. They're together. They're willing to do anything to make this win happen. So I love our guys and love where they're at mentally and how they're going to come together. It's going to be a great team.
Steve, probably a different emotional set for you. Can you relate how you feel as a vice captain now as to what it was when you were in charge? The pressure is different, I would assume, but I'm curious as to how you deal with this differently than you did the last time around.
Yeah, I mean it's not it's not as pressure packed for me, being an assistant captain. It was being a captain. I mean, everything is on your plate. Every little thing is your decision. So there's a lot to go along with that. But as an assistant captain, you're kind of there for support, and the experiences that I've had over the years, I can lean on to help. And I just talked to Zach yesterday about a couple little things and team bonding things that I've done that we'll continue to do this year, which is kind of cool. So it's just little things in there to do whatever anybody needs. Shoot, you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches if you have to. I mean, it's just all part of being a team and helping out, and that's what'll be fun on this practice round trip. We'll get an opportunities as captains to be together a lot and just talk about pairings and who's going to play what kind of format and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be a great trip.
Steve, I think one storyline that could come out of this event for Luke Donald, he picked a young man named Ludwig Aberg. He's only 23 years old. That's an interesting pick, and can you imagine what it would be like for a young guy to compete at such an early part of his career in an event like that?
Yeah, and he hits it a long ways. I guess I've never seen him play, but a good player, has been playing well lately. And you're starting to build your future right there. I guess you pick him early and get that experience under his belt on a home match, which is important too. Don't send him overseas and have him compete here in America for the first time, which is tough for somebody. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how he plays, and but I guess he's a tremendous talent, which would be fun to watch.
Steve, last one from me, and that is the golf juggling act that your family has going on right now. Izzy in tournaments all the time, trying to defend at the end of this season her state championship. Bobbi just out at Q School, and now her next steps. Nikki playing in the U.S. Senior Women's Amateur. You're still playing, and this. I mean, I imagine you love it, but there's a lot right now, right?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's busy time for all of us, which is fun. Time flies by, but everybody's doing what they want to do, and we're all supporting one another and finding a little bit of success here and there. So that's always fun and keeps the kids motivated when they play well. And like you said, Bobbi's got a little bit of a challenge, mentally for a few days. And shoot, I went through it for 3 or 4 years as well. You don't make it, and you're like, is this the right thing for me to do? And so all these negative thoughts go through your mind, but this is the thoughts that kind of fuel your next desires and your will to get better. So that's what she's got to find out, if she's strong enough inside to continue on, and she wants to, but those times in defeat, is what makes you stronger and want to get better.
One final one, then we're going to let you go, Steve. Did you talk to Jerry after he played here yesterday? What was his thoughts if you did talk to him on TPC?
Yeah, I did talk to him. Excuse me. I called him up, and he loved it. He loved the redo. And I got to tell you what, I was super impressed. I hadn't played out there for about 10, 12 days because I was gone, but the course is in great shape. The greens are flipping pure. And fast,
they really are.
And they really are. And it was another element because the green speeds got up, to a pretty quick speed. So it was a lot of fun, and he enjoyed it. And again, there was a couple things that he mentioned that we're looking at too. Maybe changing this fall, hopefully. We get on the same page with that, and then, but we'll continue to try to make it better and more enjoyable for everybody and more playable.
Steve, have a safe trip and all the best with the Ryder Cup team. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Steve.
Guys.
That's Steve Stricker. We'll be back on Talking Golf at TPC, Wisconsin, right after this timeout.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hi, I'm Sean Cleary. I'd like to take a quick 30 seconds and talk to you about the most important part of a Cleary building, the foundation. Without it, you won't be able to stand the test of time. At Cleary, our foundation is made up of some truly amazing people. Our Cleary family rises to the challenge every day, and it shows when that shamrock is applied. So if you are looking for a new challenge at our corporate office or out on the construction site, join the Cleary family today by clicking on careersatclearybuilding.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf and Vic radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com and let them know Ridgetop Larry sent you.
Looking for new equipment? TPC Wisconsin has a team of certified fitters that have been ranked top 100 club fitters by Golf Digest, Titleist, Ping, and Mizuno. TPC Wisconsin fitters use science, art, technology, and ball flight to determine the best equipment for your swing. To schedule your private fitting experience, contact Dylan Parisi at 608-249-1000. Learn from the best. Get better. Only at TPC Wisconsin. Back on Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin here in Madison, along with Mike Heller, Dennis Tiziani. I'm Paul Brown, and now with us is Bobbi Stricker. And Bobbi, before we talk about your golf and that type of thing, how cool that your mother has qualified for the Women's Senior Amateur Championship.
Yeah, my mom is a boss, and we already knew that, but this just proves another thing. She's awesome. She works so hard at her game, and yeah, she hasn't competed like this in, I think, 20-plus years is what she keeps saying. So, yeah, to go out there and have it be a USGA event of some sort, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm so proud of her.
Is your game similar to mom's or dad's more? Like, I don't know if that's a fair question to ask.
That's a really good question. I've never actually compared them. I don't even know how to answer.
Yeah.
She's fiery. I do have that fire. Like, I mean, my dad is fiery too. No, I've never thought about it.
I'm also curious. I was talking to Dennis and your dad in the first segment about the difference between stroke play and match play.
Yeah.
So the U.S. Women's Senior Amateur, they'll have a couple of rounds of stroke play, and then they break it down to the top 64 in match play. How is the game different for you when you switch from stroke to match?
Yeah, it's well, it's a ton different because you're playing against only the girl that you're playing with. I don't have a ton of experience with match play. We had a match play tournament in college. I got to play as an individual, so I didn't play for my actual team, but I played as an individual and got to play match play, and I actually ended up winning the individual, like the bracket that I was in. It's cool. It's a different mindset. Like I said, you're not focused on maybe necessarily an actual score. It's just whatever the girl's doing next to you and trying to beat her. It's really fun. I wish we had more of that, or just more opportunities to play in that kind of format, because it's unique. It's fun.
Dennis, you kind of shook your head a little bit when Mike asked Bobbi the question about the comparison of the two. How do you see the ability of the two of them in Bobbi and Nikki? And the second part of that question with Nikki, the fact that she hadn't competed in all of those years, that's a pretty significant contribution and success that she's got, right?
Well, answering that question, but she's been in competitive situations. So some of the feelings that she had carrying the bag are some of the same feelings she's going to have playing. So it isn't that it's totally, and as far as from her perspective, she's totally different than both of them. I mean, I think she is. I think that there's a more of a consistency on her part. That I think that there's more of a mental approach on her end than either one of them. And to her disadvantage today, because that's what's being affected by maybe missing by one shot and stuff like that. But as I told you before, you'll never win at anything if you're worried about the defeat part. And this is a part that she'll get over that, worried about not making it and stuff like that. You go the other way. But she's totally different. And I text her a number of times, and, her history also is in her future. Women's golf on a professional basis is different than the guys. There's a long tournament thing. From a woman's standpoint, playing on the tour and stuff, there's an end. I mean, there's not a senior tournament. There's not this and everything else. However, what she'll be able to do is to parlay that into something else. And I went through that, the same thing where the business of playing on the tour and doing those things are an advantage to something else you're going to do. You know, I know her background mentally pretty good, and again, her history is in the future. This is the tournament golf is a stepping stone, you know.
Yeah, Bobby, we're talking with your dad in the previous segment about the Q school round, the first stage. You missed by a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't hide from it, right? I mean, that's hard to deal with when
Mm-hmm.
you miss by one from advancing. So where are you in the process, and what is next now for you?
Yeah, not going to lie, I've been struggling really hard.
Yeah.
Really, really hard. Yesterday was a good day, and starting to look at the positives, because there are a ton of positives. Just got drowned out by the really big negative at the moment, but I still have opportunity. The Epson season that I got status for last summer is still going on.
Yeah.
So what I did last weekend, or just last week, I guess, that whole thing doesn't start until next summer or next season. So we still have 5 tournaments in this season right now, and I'm really hoping that I get the opportunity to get into those. It's going to be close. They start taking from the money list, and I'm like 7th alternate right now for the tournament that starts Thursday. So I mean, we're getting into our last. It's kind of like a postseason thing, you know. So hopefully I get into that, and then just start my off season.
Right. And then I have a follow-up on your mom.
Mm-hmm.
So playing in the U.S. Senior Am, which is September 30th through October 5th. The Ryder Cup is
Mm-hmm.
September 29th through October 1st. Where's Bobbi going?
This is the big debate in our household at the moment, because my sister also has sectionals.
Yes.
So
right.
I'm doing nothing, and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, you're my first choice at the moment. And I said, Izzy, sorry, but you're my last. Because it's not state. If it were state, I'd be like, you know, but I really want to go to Rome.
So, I don't blame you for that.
Told you.
If you went to Troon, would you carry for? Would you caddy?
No. She had one of her best friends caddy for her,
right.
and they made it through. So I think they're gonna keep
They're
that.
gonna stay.
Yep.
Yeah, I get
no.
it.
So I would be a spectator.
Bobby, in terms of Emily Lauterbach, she made it.
Yeah.
And also Tess
Yeah.
has apparently decided maybe to go in a different direction.
Yep.
And I know you're very close with those two.
Yeah.
What's the status? What are you hearing from them? And,
Yeah. Well, first of all, they're 2 of my best friends. We got to travel all summer with them, and Emily's so proud of her. She grinded through and made it through to second stage, which I think is in October. Really cool to see her just improvement. I know how full of anxiety she was like that whole week. Just because it determines your whole next year, and for her to grind through and get through, I was really happy for her. Tess, selfishly, I'm very sad with what's happening, but we've talked a lot about it, and just where she's at and just her stage of life. She just feels like she kind of wants to. I don't know if she's going to be done.
No, she's not done.
But I respect everything that she's doing, and from a personal standpoint, the influence that she's had on me, she's like a big sister. So selfishly, I hope she's not fully done, because I love being out there with her, and she's a great competitor, and she's a great golfer, and she's trending in a really cool direction at the moment. But I also understand what she's deciding to want to do. So like I said, us three have had some fun times this summer.
Well, can Mike and I help in any way to get you to Rome? Is there any? Can we?
Listen, I'm willing to carry bags. Or
No.
whatever.
Write a check.
Oh no, not that part of
What
it.
the hell's this carry bags?
There'll be no check.
I know. I want to go find the Tiziani name, wherever that is.
It's on a building there. It's in the town of Asiago.
I know.
It's on the side up there.
I know. I feel like it's like, my family is there.
Yeah.
So
If you see the name, you'll probably see a picture of
I'm sure I would.
I got a
He's
picture.
a legend.
Yeah.
So
Bobby, thanks for joining
thank you.
us.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be back on Talking Golf at TPC, Wisconsin, right after this time out.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells. This stunning championship course offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf Effect radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf. On the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob's. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Continue on this Labor Day edition of Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin. Mike Heller, Dennis Tiziani, Paul Brown with you. We welcome in Gary D'Amato.
Boo.
Quite a reaction. That's right out of the gate, Gary.
That's normal, Gary. Just remember that.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I'm used to it.
I know you are. Let me start, Gary, with the calendar. So a bit of a wild card here from a question to open. We sit in a calendar season right now. I know the Walker Cup was just this weekend, and the U.S. won overseas in that, bringing back another title. And the Ryder Cup comes up at the end of the month. But the new calendar that they kind of put in, now they're going to change the calendar again. This is kind of an empty 4-5 weeks-ish on the golf calendar from a heavy focus standpoint. Do you like the new calendar?
You know, there are pros and cons, obviously. No matter how it worked out, there were going to be, pros and cons to a new reshuffled calendar. But, I think a lot of the PGA Tour pros are kind of glad that the season doesn't extend into almost December like it used to. And then, you've got all these next year. You've got all the signature events, the limited field events. So it's going to be drastically different from anything we've ever seen. It's going to be a new way to watch and experience golf on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, let me take it to that. The new calendar, which again will change next year, and the limited field events, which is an offshoot from the merger with LIV. There will be smaller tournament fields in certain events with bigger purses and no cuts. And I wonder what the overall thought of that is here as it relates to PGA Tour players that didn't go over and do LIV. Yeah,
we've talked about this before, I think, on your show, that that golf's always been a real meritocracy, and it still will be to some extent. But the rich get richer. It's true in all major sports, and now it's really true in golf that the top 70 golfers are going to make a boatload of money, and it's going to be hard to break into that top 70. It can be done, but for the most part, I think it's from a viewership standpoint, from people watching golf on TV at home, I think it's great because these signature events, you're going to see the best fields many times, not just a few times a year, but you'll see them, a dozen or 15 times now.
We're chatting with Gary D'Amato, who is a senior writer at Wisconsin.golf. Gary, the rosters are now official for the Ryder Cup that's coming up. Steve's taken off on Thursday to go over for a practice round. What's your takeaway? Obviously, the Scheffler, Clark, Harmon, Schauffele, Cantley, and Homa were the top 6. The other picks were Burns along with Koepka, Morikawa, Fowler, Spieth, and maybe the controversial one, Justin Thomas. Would you agree with that, or how do you see it?
I would definitely agree that it's controversial, picking Justin Thomas over guys like Keegan Bradley and Lucas Glover, who had better years and won. I've read a lot of critiques about this team, that it's sort of the old boys network again with Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and Justin Thomas, the frat boys, kind of. But, I was just looking at the picks by Luke Donald today. He made his picks this morning, and he picked a couple of rookies who are, totally untested. Ludwig Aberg and Nikolai Holgaard, 23 and 22 years old. But I'll tell you what, people think that because the U.S. won 19-9 a couple of years ago at Whistling Straits that it's going to be easy. Far from the truth. I think this is going to be a huge test for the U.S. team going over there in Rome.
Well, you look at they have 4 of the top 5 players in the world, and Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, Victor Hovland, and Tyrrell Hatton, and also Tommy Fleetwood. So, Dennis, that is a pretty competitive group that they've got on that side of the ledger.
Well, it is, but, out of those 4 guys you mentioned, they got beat pretty regular, too. Let's go back and talk about Scheffler beating the number 1 player in the world, beat him like a drum. Now, I think that Hovland is a different type of a game there. But the other 3 guys have been beaten before, no different than ours. I think that they have a strong team, but I think that we do, too. And you mentioned 19-9. Well, that's a little bit of a carryover, but I think what you're going to be surprised at, and this goes back to another thing, too, which you're going to be surprised at the outcome. I think that USA is going to handle this group on a pretty good basis, And one thing they have that's, they've won before, but you got guys who are different guys at different countries. Over here, one country. That's right. They're playing for the right thing. They get it, and they got the background and the experience and the coaches and the like. That'd be pretty good.
Gary, we were talking earlier about Nikki Stricker. She is qualified for the U.S. Women's Senior Amateur at Troon Country Club in Scottsdale, along with Sarah DeCray, who's also a TPC Wisconsin member. Pretty extraordinary story. To watch what Nikki has done in supporting Steve and being a caddy, and then the daughter's success, and then here she steps back into tournament play, and this is what a heck of an accomplishment.
Well, it certainly is, and I talked to Nikki. I think she was driving home from the tournament when I got her on the phone, and she was fired up, and good reason to be fired up. 31 years after she qualified for the U.S. Women's Amateur, that's a long time between USGA events. But,
No
Nikki's been around the game at the highest level for those 30 years. She's watched the best players in the world, including her husband, and she plays a lot of golf with her family, with all good players, so it's definitely not a surprise, but I think it's pretty cool that she teed it up and showed her daughters that she can still play golf at a high level.
I want to go back to the Ryder Cup for just a minute and get your guys' comment on this. I think I know where Dennis is going to come down. You talked about the old boys network, so to speak, Gary, and that kind of thing. Keegan Bradley was, I don't know if you'd call him outspoken. In his mind, he was honest. He said, I've always been an outsider. I've tried to get closer to the guys. Fred Couples intimated that he's not tight. I guess bottom line, what's your thoughts on him saying that, and might it be true?
Oh, certainly it's true. I mean, when you look at just pure performance, he deserved a spot on the team. But there's so much more that goes into it than that. I mean, that has to be one of, if not the top, qualifications is current form and how you played in the last 6 or 8 months. But this team is built on chemistry. They had such a great chemistry a couple of years ago at Whistling Straits, and I think, by picking the guys that are picked, I think they're trying to duplicate that chemistry, and I think that's going to be important, especially over there where the whole world's going to be against the U.S. team. And let's face it, the U.S. has really struggled mightily in Europe. Haven't won there in 30 years. So
if you had to bet in a match and you put Justin Thomas and what's his name?
Keegan Bradley.
You put them out there on the course. Who would you bet on?
Yeah.
That's the gig. Justin Thomas is a better player. He's having a little bit of a downtime. Who knows what's going on in his personal life and this will be a revival. And you can call it good old boys next, but that's what they are. They're good old boys, and they're really good at golf, and they're friends. I think that by far that's a good pick. I'd have picked him in front of some of the other players that are there.
All right, so I'm going to ask Dennis first. Gary, that means you might not get a turn. But I want to ask you both this question. Dennis, you talk about the player. It's the player, not the coach, not the captain. It's the player.
Right.
But is this different when you get in this team format? Is it different than just the player? Because if it was just the player and how he plays, wouldn't you pick the best players to put on the team and not worry so much about chemistry?
You think there's a big difference? I think there's a big difference between Justin Thomas and
Keegan Bradley.
Justin Thomas is a better plaer. Recently, this other guy has done okay and stuff like that. However, you're not going to put an old man in with a bunch of young guys. It doesn't work. Chemistry is a big item on that team. You heard it from Steve. You heard it from who's the fellow who started out this business of the captain. Anyway, you heard it from him that they went ahead and they worked on what happens to the team. Did you know that the players have a big part in picking the team?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Now, they're not stupid. They're going to pick the best players to win because it's big for them to win. I think they did a good job in picking the players. I have nothing against our fellow here, but Justin Thomas paired with Spieth, dynamic.
Yeah.
Gary, chemistry, ability, and how Zach and 3 years ago, how Steve picked the team. How do those play in your world and the people you work with?
Yeah, I think chemistry, to Dennis's point, is extremely important. I mean, we've seen it before in Ryder Cup, U.S. Ryder Cup teams where there wasn't good chemistry, and how badly and poorly they performed. Going back to when Hal Sutton tried to pair Phil and Tiger together, it was a disaster. Those guys at that point in time didn't really like each other. That was a mistake. But yeah, chemistry is extremely important, and that's one of the reasons Justin Thomas is on the team. He's obviously a great player. He's won a couple majors. He's struggling a little bit right now, but yeah, put him with Jordan Spieth, and he's kind of the heart and soul of that team too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Agree with that.
That's right.
Now,
I
Dennis,
got one more
how you just listened to Gary in this segment? Now, how
you guys
can you
didn't
pick
disagree
on him?
at all?
Huh?
You guys didn't disagree at all.
What the hell did he say? All he said is,
oh boy!
All he said is, I agree with Dennis. Is what he said. I mean, come on.
On one point.
Have a good, nice Labor Day, Gary. We'll be back on Talking Golf after this time out at TPC, Wisconsin.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
TPC Wisconsin houses a world-class golf instruction, coaching, and club fitting experience. Golfers have year-round access to our award-winning coaches and club fitters, state-of-the-art technologies, and PGA Tour quality facilities. If you'd like to learn more about junior and women's golf, private instruction, group coaching, or business clinics, please contact Travis Becker at tbecker@tpcwisconsin.com. Learn from the best. Get better only at TPC Wisconsin.
When you're looking for an amazing golf experience, look no further than Wild Rock Golf Club in the Wisconsin Dells. This stunning championship course offers unforgettable views from elevated tee boxes with greens that roll fast and true. Cut from the natural beauty of the Dells, Wild Rock is truly a sight to behold. Secluded and sheltered from the outside world, Wild Rock is a unique gem that offers challenges for all skill levels. Enjoy the Wild Rock experience. Do yourself a favor by booking your tee time online today at wildrockgolf.com. That's wildrockgolf.com.
When it comes to golf, being the best takes years of hard work, focus, and love of the game. It's no different for Ridgetop Exteriors. For over 20 years, transferring our neighbors' homes with new roofs, siding, and windows has been par for the course, and we've mastered our craft. For a free estimate, go to ridgetopexteriors.com. Affordable roofing, siding, and windows, plus award-winning customer service. Get your estimate today at ridgetopexteriors.com and let them know Ridgetop Larry sent you.
Ugh. Jim, what are you hitting?
Titleist 4.
Well, I got a top flight and a Callaway, but no Titleist.
Dude, I've already lost 3.
Maybe you should work on your swing.
I don't want to hear it.
Are you tired of duffing your drive? Then Clary Building has the answer for you. Hi, I'm Sean Clary. Whether you are building something for your business or storage for your toys, we can always add a little indoor driving range. Let us keep you in the fairway. Visit clarybuilding.com today.
This is Gary D'Amato, senior writer for Killarney Golf Media and Wisconsin.golf. Visit Wisconsin.golf for the latest in golf news and feature stories about people, places, and tournaments in our state. And listen to Talking Golf on TPC Wisconsin to hear me spar with Dennis Tiziani. Wisconsin.golf and Talking Golf on the internet and on your radio dial, the voices of golf in Wisconsin.
TPC Wisconsin. Travis Becker is the director of golf here at TPC. Let's go to the putting green. Now, you and I talked about this earlier this season on Talking Golf, but we were talking about the training aids, and we were also talking about TrackMan helping us determine some things. Now let's talk about reading greens and putting, because that begins to bring imagination into play. How critical is that when you're on a green trying to read a putt? What are your basics?
So you have to come up with a series of questions as you're approaching the green, and you should ask them kind of to yourself in the same order each time. One might be, how long is my putt? A lot of people don't have any idea, and they get up and they leave it way short or hit it too far, and that leads to the 3 putts. So the first thing you're asking yourself, how far is the putt? The next thing I'm looking at is the design of the green complex. I'm trying to find out if my ball is I'm going to be putting uphill or I'm going to be putting downhill. A good rule of thumb is 90% of the time the ball is going to break towards the fairway of that hole that you're playing. So most of the greens are constructed with the front of the green a little bit lower than the back of the green. However, even taking our greens here at TPC Wisconsin, we have some undulation in them, and there's some points on the green where that is not true. So you're paying attention uphill or downhill. The next thing I like to ask is it going to go to the left or is it going to go to the right? Once I have this information in my head of the distance of the putt, if it's uphill or downhill, and if it's breaking left or right, I can start to visualize the line of the putt.
Travis, we see a lot of people read putts in different ways. The old school with a plumb bob holding their putter up. Now we see players that are walking up in the middle of their line and straddle the line that they're putting on and hold fingers up. What are those processes, and what should the average golfer think of in regards to those?
You can dive really deep into this, and aim point is what you're talking about, what a lot of those players will use, and you go to school for that, and you find out how many fingers it'll break per inches or cups it'll move.
There's math involved.
There is math.
Yes.
I have students that use levels out on the green, and they can determine the slope. But I think a lot of it is just learning the topography of the golf course, getting a feel so you don't overthink it. So a lot of time your first instinct on what you think is going to happen with that break typically does. So learning the golf course that you're playing. If you are playing here at TPC Wisconsin, the lay of the land, everything used to break towards number 12 tee box. That's where the water exits our property. So if this place flooded, that's where it would have to go.
Yeah.
If you play Torrey Pines, everything's going to break towards the ocean. If you're playing a mountain golf course, everything is breaking away from the top of that hill.
So we look at big picture, And then you look at the little picture. I mean, as you're walking, if you're walking a golf course, if you're walking uphill to the green, then keep in mind that the ball is likely going to be going to where you just walked from if you're walking uphill. Then you look at the little pictures. How much is an imagination in your mind and walking all the way around the cup beneficial to what you're going to do next?
Sure. You usually want to start by taking a good look from directly behind your ball with binocular vision. You can crouch down if that helps you see the grass a little bit more. Look at the grain of the grass. Sometimes you can see the grass growing to the left or to the right. Typically, that's the direction the ball will break. Second, you can look from the other side of the hole. We usually recommend to go about 6 to 10 feet past the hole. Look, if you were hitting a putt from that side of the hole, what does it look like? And then look from the hole back to your ball.
Yeah.
And then third, triangulate it. Look for the low point. Go to that low point and make sure you're looking up the hill. You see more detail looking up the hill versus down the hill.
And I would also add this in, and this is not part of the lesson package, but you don't have to wait until it's your turn to putt to do these things. And in fact, in the interest of pace of play, you should be doing all of these things without interrupting others while others are putting if they're further away.
100%. So when it's your turn to play, it's your turn to play, and that's not when the green reading process starts. Like I said, typically for a really good player, they're reading the green before they hit their approach shot because they want to leave it. If they're a right-handed player, they may want an uphill putt that breaks right to left. They're not going to read it or hit a shot where it's a downhill putt that breaks left to right on purpose.
Now, I always think of this, people have asked this for years, of whether there is a order of importance. You were talking about distance and speed of the putt earlier. I always kind of thought that the speed is the most important part. Let's get it the right distance, worry about line, but line is impacted by speed and distance. How do you integrate them?
I agree with you. I think speed is the most important thing. However, again, coaching a lot of the students, anything inside the flag stick, let's say inside 8 feet, the line is probably more important because you need to get that ball started on your line. Anything outside of that, then you start to go more into the speed. And speed, you're talking length of the swing and tempo of the swing.
A lot of videos out there on deciding whether the flag stick should stay in the cup or out on putting. Do you have a philosophy?
I'm still doing research on that, getting as many students as I can, and I've seen it work both ways. So it's if it's windy, I would say take it out. If it's a longer putt, I'd say leave it in for depth perception. Shorter putt, I've heard it. There's more stuff in the hole, and the ball won't go in if that flag's in. So it is a preference, and still doing research on that.
And the last one, I'll take you back to what we talked about earlier in the year. We're talking about reading greens and understanding, but there's also that putter fitting concept, and people don't think about putter fitting. We talked about it earlier this year. It's absolutely a big part of what happens when you get on the green.
So 43% of the score is with that putter.
Yeah.
So it is the most important club in the bag. So if you have not been fit for your putter, I highly recommend you go through a putter fitting. Get the right length, get the right toe hang, get the right lie angle, get the right loft so you're rolling the ball. And when you go through the process, hopefully it can take 2 or 3 shots off your score.
Yeah, really good stuff, Travis. And again, if you're looking for instruction, tpcwisconsin.com. You don't have to be a member. They've got a great staff. It starts with Travis, but they've got a lot of great fitters and teachers of the game. Look it up, tpcwisconsin.com. Travis, thank you. We'll be back with more in a moment. This is Talking Golf at TPC Wisconsin.
Your golf game need a pick-me-up? It's one-stop shopping only at Nevada Bob's. Joel and his crew can equip you, dress you, teach you, and here's the best part. New or used, clubs, shoes, bags, carts, apparel, balls, you name it, and they got it. Isn't that right, Joel?
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. Kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Oak Park Place is a proud sponsor of the Golf and Vic radio show. While golfers need peace of mind to succeed on the course, Oak Park Place offers seniors and their loved ones peace of mind by providing the right balance of care centered around an active lifestyle. Hi, this is Pat Richter for Oak Park Place. Choose a senior living community with neighbors that become like family. Oak Park Place Senior Living. Locations throughout Wisconsin. Visit oakparkplace.com to learn more.
Why drive an ordinary car when for the same monthly payment, you could be driving something extraordinary? Aaron Perkins, General Manager, Zimbrick European. Imagine yourself behind the wheel of a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche. More safety, performance, and luxury, and way more fun. And getting more costs less than you think. Zimbrick European makes leasing affordable. Discover the value for yourself. Stop in and test drive a Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or Porsche today. Visit Zimbrick European and find out why leasing the car of your dreams makes so much sense.
It's time to lock in your tee time at University Ridge Golf Course. Now taking reservations up to 90 days in advance for the 2023 golf season. Book at universityridge.com. Proud host of the American Family Insurance Championship, University Ridge is a course for everyone with tees ranging from 5,000 to 7,200 yards. Even if you don't have time to play, stop out and play on the free putting course or pay $20 to hit practice balls for an hour on our grass tee practice range. Play where the Badgers and the pros play in 2023.
Welcome back. We are live at Luke and Anna's garage. Sean, what are we looking at here?
Well, Phil, Anna has taken over the garage with her candle business and left no room for lawn care storage. It looks like Luke has a 5-iron. No, make that a 4-iron to knock down the weeds around the house.
Great call, Sean. I don't think that 5-iron would have gotten it done.
It's a story as old as time, Phil. You gotta have the right tools for the job, and if you don't have a place to store the tools, then you should probably visit clearybuilding.com today.
A new year, and maybe it's time for new equipment. If yes, Nevada Bob's is the place to go. Jeff and Max are the fittest fitters around, and they can set you up from driver to putter and everything in between. And anything else golf-related, wheel and deal with Joel.
Your game, your store, always at the best price.
Talking golf, TPC, Wisconsin, along with Mike Heller and Dennis Tiziani. I'm Paul Brown. There's been a lot of good content on the show with Steve and Bobby and Travis and Mike and Gary, but it's a word that is coming to be the highlight of the day here.
The word is meritocracy. Gary D'Amato used it. Now, he's the president of the National Golf Writers Association of America.
And
so
Tiz says, what
it's
the
a
hell
big
is
word.
that?
It's a belief that rulers should be chosen for their abilities rather than their wealth or family tree. So meritocracy means that you earn and you get status based on what you've done rather than who you are. Dennis?
$25 word.
Don't finish that.
Say, speaking of money, you had one final comment.
Do you really think that you're looking at these players, these 60 or 70 players, and do you really think you're looking at how much money they're going to make?
No.
You're looking at they playing golf, so it means nothing to the viewer. It means everything to that youngster who's going ahead and using his measurement, which is money, for his thing. But I don't look at the amount of money they're making. I'm looking at if they win or lose. So it may be a real good thing that these top players are playing against one another and getting ready for it, because they're really going to try to make the money. That's their business. Mm-hmm. Our business is, I want to see those birdies and I want to see those shots, and that's what I'm looking at. I could care less about the money.
Yeah, and the money to me is a reflection of the point system, right? So the points are money, but I mean, if they just said, you get a point for finishing 30th and more,
right.
10 points for finish 20th and so on and so forth, but it all does equate back to money, and that is part of what the viewership's going to get next year on some of these tournaments. Is they're going to get a field built of the top money earners, which are also the top winners.
Right.
And then, so they're getting the best fields, and I think they're going to do that a little bit more.
Mike, is this the appropriate time to ask for a raise from this guy? I mean, the content's...
No, it's not. No, it is not. I mean, look at his face.
Raise.
No.
Why don't you earn something?
No,
How
do we know that
give
was
me a
coming?
chance to give it.
Oh, God. Hey, it's Labor Day. We hope you and your family have a good Labor Day. Obviously, the show will be rebroadcast on WIBA later in the week. But we're out of time. For Dave McCann, our engineer, for Mike Heller, for Dennis Tiziani, Paul Brown, thank you for joining us. That's another edition of Talking Golf at TPC, Wisconsin. We'll be back next Monday to do it all over again. So have a nice Labor Day and hit 'em straight.